Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's another paid request. This time for Arthur. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below. Please feel free. It could be a tier list, topic, what have you. Now, this is for the Reef Stalked from 2022. It's a shark movie. And based on the reviews, like IMDb, user reviews, I would expect it like the worst. And I don't think it's that bad, but it's a rather uneventful, dull film, I will say that. The best way I would describe this is a dull, less successful version of The Shallows. Which The Shallows I really enjoyed. The Shallows I would say is one of the better shark films out there. Because you have the classic Jaws, you have the very fun entertainment level stuff like Deep Blue Sea, and you have some nice welcome surprises like The Shallows. But a lot of shark films happen to be bad. This one, I think for the most part, is serviceable. But again, especially the third act, there's quite a bit of dullness to it. First, I thought it was funny with how many companies were associated with this at the beginning. To the point I was laughing. Because, like, okay, there's RLJE Films. Okay, then there's Shudder. Okay, then there's Filmology Finance. Alright. Then there's Screen Queensland. Then there's AMP. Then there's Mysterious Light. Then there's Thrills and Spills. I'm like, there's 7 fucking companies now. How many damn ones are there? So, it's more of a personal drama with someone dealing with the death of their sister who was murdered by the sister's piece of crap boyfriend. So her younger sister, and 2 friends are trying to work over their loss. They're in the Pacific Islands. Beautiful location, I'll say. Beautiful location. And one thing leads to another, and there's a shark there. Now, I thought the acting was fine. A lot of people knock the acting and say it's the worst or one of the worst. No. It's not fantastic. It's not A-level acting. But I thought it was fine. Like, it was fine acting. Like, the ladies were fine. And so I don't understand the putrid ratings of the acting that this. I mean, I just show you a bunch of fucking films that have some putrid acting. Go watch Bottle Monster. Go watch some Neal Breen films. Or even some of those fucking Sharknado films. You want to see some really horrible acting. Like I said, it's just one of those things where there's not a lot of hugely memorable stuff happening. And then it makes you go, well, what's the point of what? Like, The Shallows was much more interesting. I thought the director, who also, I think he did a couple Liam Neeson films. I want to say it's the same director who did the House of Wax remake. Could be wrong. He definitely had a bit more of an eye for the action scenes involving the shark. There's some fun, quirky moments, like the lady saw the seagull and she named it Steven Seagull. It was her friend during this ordeal. The way it opens, spoiler alert, it's her sister and 2 friends, they're having fun, realizes something going on with her sister and her boyfriend, tries to call her. You kind of know what's coming, so you can fairly predict it. And that's maybe another thing you find is fairly predictable of a movie. She goes in, the boyfriend's there going, she made me do it, just sitting there. She goes in, finds her sister drowned in a tub. She freaks out, of course. That's 9 months later. Now, with the title, The Reef Stalked, I thought that boyfriend character was going to come back in. where he escaped from the top, there's something else happened, and so it'd be maybe the shark and the guy would be stalking these ladies, so they'd have to deal with both. So maybe it'd be one of those, like, you have this crazy guy on land, so if they get on land, they gotta deal with this crazy guy, whether he's got a gun or a knife or something. But then in the water, they got a shark, so it's like they have trouble on both ends. No, that's not the case. You never see that guy again. You don't even hear much about that guy again. I at least thought there'd be some kind of dialogue or some kind of thing where, even to a point of like she visualizes the shark as the guy who killed her sister, and that gives her like the ain't. But I guess if you did that, it reminds you of the fucking the water boy. Well, you stupid? No. No what? And, you know, tackling people, imagining. So maybe it'd be looked at as a bit goofy. But I thought something more was going to be into that because of the damn title. Nope. Instead, like I said, her younger sister and two people go out kayaking in the water. And also the director shows a little bit of style. There's a bit where she's looking at the ceiling fan, and the ceiling fan, each time it goes, it gives her images of her sister in the tub that she kept seeing. That wasn't too bad of an edit. And like I said, with the first chunk of the film, I'm like, okay, this isn't, you know, the worst build-up I've seen. I know it's not big praise, but again, acting fine, beautiful location. Okay, there's a little bit of development of the situation to know a bit where the headspace is at for some of the characters. But like I said, just not a whole lot happens. I actually see a lot of people watching this and getting rather bored, especially if you've seen a lot of other shark films. Now, the shark itself, I know a lot of people crapped on the look of the shark. I mean, if they used documentary footage, I thought it did blend fairly well with the movie. Because it's a real shark they're showing. And the little spurts of it in contact with the people, I've seen much worse in terms of effects. I really have. Again, look at Shark Attack movies, like a Shark Attack 3 Megalodon or other attributes. It just, I didn't think it was that much of an issue compared to what other people said. Pretty much what happens is, and spoiler alert, the four of them go out kayaking, some of them go diving, the younger sister sees a shark, they decide to go back, younger sister gets toppled off her kayak, one of the girls, Lisa, gets killed, and that's the only film that, I mean, that's the only person that gets killed by the shark. So it's one of those movies that one person gets killed by the shark. One person. Not even any cannon fodder, just one person. So again, that's the kind of film you're dealing with. Same thing with, pretty much soon after, there's these two kids they see on a raft and they're trying to help them. It's funny that the shark was able to kill the grown-ass woman pretty quickly, but it takes a little girl and just carries her and then lets her go, I guess. So the shark could kill a grown-ass woman easily and fine, but not a little girl. So the three get on the beach. There's the boy, there's the little girl, there's the mom or whoever she is, and the girl's leg is hurt. There's nobody else apparently on this island, which I don't know why the fuck you would have it where... What if something else had fucking happened? What if it wasn't a shark? What if someone slipped and broke their leg, or something fell from a tree and knocked them on the head. Like, this is all you have? You have no doctors, you have no other way to leave other than a shitty looking boat. It seemed like even without the shark, there would have been a bad situation to be in. It's a bad predicament. At the very least, have a way to contact people. Like, what if there's some other kind of emergency? What if there's a fucking fire? I don't know. It just seemed like this is a really shitty way to have your island. Or the people, these 3, 4 people on the island, they just don't give a fuck. I don't know. It's just we have to be that way, otherwise there wouldn't be a movie. So the three decide to take some of their kayaking stuff, get some wood, make a boat, a little bit of a boat where the three of them can be in. They go out into the water and not a whole lot happens. They see it again. They make like a boat trap where they take one of their kayaks and they let it go. And there's like a little hook with a fish they put in it. And they see it grab and drag them because they're connected to it. And it goes down. And they just assume that the shark is dead, which I thought that was very presumptuous of them. To just assume it's dead. I mean, of course they're wrong. So it comes back and they try to use a net. And somehow the younger sister gets caught in the net. So the other sister, our lead, she overcomes her trauma of her other sister, dives in, and just stabs the shark a few times. Gets her sister out. And then pretty much they do a little memorial for the sister that died 9 months ago, and for the Lisa character, who died. The one person died from a shark, and then the movie's over. So, as one man would say, doesn't sound like much, and you're right. You're right. I guess they really wanted to get a lot out of this sister drowning trauma, but again, it just. Other than her seeing a few times in the water her sister in a tub and her being steered a few times, that's really all that culminates with it. And like I said, the action is not that exciting. The body count is extremely low. The backdrop is fairly pretty. The acting, I don't think, is much of an issue. It just is not a lot of scares or suspense or intensity to it. So it just feels a bit empty. Like I said, I've seen much, much worse films in terms of terrible, incompetent direction, completely amateurish editing, or acting that would not even pass for a school play, let alone for a fucking film. It's not nearly that bad. But like I said, to repeat one last time, if someone came up and said, that was kind of dull. Yeah, you're right. It was a pretty dull film, and again, you just do better watching The Shallows. Which, yes, that does have... Because the shark is more active, sadly, then you get a bit more CGI. But at least stuff happens. At least it still feels like exciting. I mean, the death of the shark is even boring. I mean, I get it. You can't kill a shark every time with a fucking explosion like Jaws. But I don't know, she just goes in, just, shanks the shark a few times. It just felt underwhelming, just like the rest of the film just felt underwhelming. And that's really the best way to put this. An underwhelming film at the end of the day. And I don't remember the first Reef film, so people are like, well, how's it compared to the first? I don't think there's any connection other than I guess the director. I think it's the same director. I think he did this film called Blackwater. I remember that being a bit more to it than it dealt with a crocodile compared to this. It's been a while since I've seen that film too, but I do remember that being a bit more better than this. But maybe it's one of those things that when Jaws came out, it hit the nail on the head in terms of shark movies. Because of that, how can you get better than Jaws? Like, you've seen it perfected. Like, Jaws is literally one of my favorite films of all time. Jaws is literally one of those films that when I worked at a video store, I put Jaws in. I would skip the opening with all the screaming from the girl and just watch the rest of the film because it was PG and they wanted to do either G or PG. And as a classic, people go, oh, I know what that is. So there you go. Because I can't think of any other G or PG rated films to put in. And I like Jaws, and I could watch that over and over again and love it. The characters, the music, everything in between. After that, like I said, I think Deep Blue Sea is the closest. Really, my only issue with that is that some of the CGI does not hold up well at all. But that's... Rennie Harlan put a lot of entertaining, testosterone-filled action into that. Made it like a Sylvester Stallone type of action movie. Just have to do with sharks and the sci-fi twist on it. And you did some good practical work and stunt work and explosions and Thomas Jane, and Deep Blue Sea is a lot of fun. Again, if there's a way to rework some of the CGI to make it look better, it'd be even more pristine, but Deep Blue Sea is my second favorite shark film. Jaws 3D I like because you get to see Dennis Quaid, who's coked out of his mind, dealing with sharks in SeaWorld. And it has the creepiest shark death I've seen, where a guy doesn't get bit, but he gets pulverized inside a shark's mouth. I always thought that was the creepiest death of any shark film I've seen. Because you're alive, and you're not... It's not that you're... Again, the idea of a shark crushing you in his mouth without even biting you, it's just you're in the gullet. Something about that, like... Almost like the embarrassment, almost. It's like you're dying, but it's also the fucking embarrassment. I'm not even getting bitten to death, man. Like, this shit's going on. And then him being stuck in the shark's mouth. I think that's a pretty... just creepy... That's just me. That's an image I remember when I was a kid. And to this day, I'm like, ew, shit. So, again, my own runabout way of saying... I've seen much better, I've seen much worse. This is, I would call, a dull below average shark film. It's not nearly garbage, like some reviews say. It's not a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10. Not even close. But if you say like 4, maybe 5, that's more understandable. Like, I don't do a lot of ratings, but if I give this out of 5 stars, I'll probably give this like 2. Probably 2 out of 5 stars. At least the acting, I thought, was, and the locations was decent enough. But yeah, if it had a bit more meat to the matter in terms of action, body count, shark action, something to that effect, maybe we could have done something else. Or add a bit more... Like I said, it's such a weird title, The Reef, Stalked. I mean, technically couldn't any shark film be titled Stalked? But... with the way shark films, they make them out to be, but whatever. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.